After the release of Super Mario 3D World in 2013, the Captain Toad concept would be revisited for a full spin-off. Throughout late 2014 and early 2015, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker was released as a budget title for the Wii U, and quickly became a cult classic for the struggling console. Without further ado, let's go over Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. The story of Captain Toad Treasure Tracker begins with Captain Toad and Toadette searching for Power Stars. After finding one, the star and Toadette are taken by an evil bird named Wingo. Captain Toad sets out to rescue Toadette and defeat Wingo, while also searching for a lot of treasure along the way. Treasure Tracker's main campaign is divided into 3 episodes with about 60 levels in total. Episode 1 is focused on Captain Toad trying to find Toadette, while their roles are reversed in Episode 2. In Episode 3, the story periodically switches between the two as they try to reunite with each other. There's also a bonus episode that includes a few levels from Super Mario 3D World, along with new stages and remixed versions of existing levels. Visually, Treasure Tracker is very similar to 3D World. The art style is still incredibly charming, with vibrant and detailed environments and fun character animations. For the most part, the soundtrack is also really good, and fits well with each stage, but a lot of the music doesn't stand out to me. Treasure Tracker's gameplay revolves around exploring stages without being able to jump. Instead of collecting 5 green stars like in 3D World's Captain Toad stages, the goal in Treasure Tracker is to reach a Power Star in each level. There are also 3 Super Gems in every stage, along with a bonus objective that's revealed after clearing a level for the first time. These range from completing a stage without taking damage to finding hidden items, and it's often possible to complete the objective without knowing it, just by carefully exploring. In addition to the main collectibles and goals, there are other incentives to replay stages. Challenge times are unlocked after completing an episode, and by scanning the Toad amiibo, there's an additional challenge to find a pixel Toad in each stage. The levels themselves usually consist of small dioramas with a variety of obstacles and enemies. Along with many returning enemies from 3D World, Treasure Tracker features many new enemy types, including classic characters like Shy Guys, and new threats like Mud Troopers. Many stages are small enough to fit entirely within the camera view, with a focus on rotating the camera around the stage to figure out what to do next. Other stages are larger in scale or more focused on exploring a linear path, like going through a train, riding a minecart, or climbing through a volcano. Even with a variety of scenario types, exploration still heavily relies on controlling the camera to find the way forward or locate secrets. Since Captain Toad and Toadette can't jump, different levels present alternate ways to deal with challenges. Similar to Super Mario Bros. 2, turnips can be found and thrown to defeat enemies. Certain stages also have a Super Pickaxe item that can be used to defeat enemies or break specific blocks. Since Treasure Tracker is based on 3D World, the health system is the same, with collectible super mushrooms to restore the characters to their standard forms after taking a hit, and 1-up mushrooms that grant extra lives. The other returning power-up is the Double Cherry, with certain stages requiring multiple copies to progress. Given the limited movement options, the controls are relatively simplistic and work well for the most part. Even though both are playable in different levels, Captain Toad and Toadette play exactly the same. Like in 3D World, there's a run button that's also used to interact with the environment, including plucking turnips out of the ground or pulling switches. There's also a button that toggles their headlamps in order to hide from enemies in dark areas, or shine a light to reveal hidden objects or defeat specific enemies. Unlike in 3D World's Captain Toad levels, it's also possible to zoom in the camera, making it easier to see the character's immediate surroundings. The one issue I have with the controls is how most actions are still tied to one button, so it's possible to accidentally pick up or throw objects while trying to run. Similar to 3D World, certain sections in Treasure Tracker use the Wii U gamepad's features. The touchscreen can be used to stun enemies, break certain blocks, move special platforms, or reveal invisible coins. And the gamepad's microphone is used to move special propeller platforms. The touchscreen is also required to control special wheels that rotate parts of specific levels. When riding a minecart or operating a cannon, a first-person view is displayed on the gamepad in order to precisely launch turnips at enemies or items using optional gyro controls. Overall, there's very little I dislike about Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. A few stages and optional goals can be a bit frustrating or require trial and error, and the way most actions are tied to the run button can be annoying. It's also a fairly short game, even when going for 100%, but I still think there's enough content to justify the price, especially as a budget title. In 2018, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker was re-released for the Nintendo 3DS and Nintendo Switch, with many changes and additional features. The 3D world levels are replaced with 4 stages based on kingdoms from Super Mario Odyssey. The Pixel Toad mode no longer requires an amiibo to unlock it, so scanning the Toad amiibo gives the player an invincibility mushroom instead. The 3DS version has a frame rate of 30 frames per second instead of 60, along with worse visuals. While the Switch version's performance is similar to the Wii U versions, there are quite a few gameplay differences. Since there isn't a microphone on the Switch, propeller platforms are replaced with automated platforms. Touch controls are still available in handheld mode, but there are also gyro controls when the Switch is docked. Updates also added a few new features, like the ability to restart a stage from the pause menu, a co-op mode, and even Nintendo Labo VR support. The Switch version also has a DLC pack that adds a variety of new levels and more remixed stages from the base game. For those who haven't played Treasure Tracker yet, I'd recommend the Switch version. Like in 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, I mostly preferred the gyro controls to the touch controls of the Wii U version, despite the initial learning curve. While I wish the Switch and 3DS versions had included 3D World stages, I do prefer the Odyssey-inspired levels for being more original in comparison to simply repurposing levels from 3D World. Even though the 3DS version seems like a surprisingly faithful port, the Switch version is easier to recommend because of the better performance and visuals, additional features that were added through patches, and the DLC content. For those who already played the Wii U version, there might not be enough new content to justify buying the game again, just for the Odyssey stages and DLC. For the most part, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker is a really fun spin-off title, and even with the release of the Switch and 3DS versions, I still think it's a bit overlooked. With the recent release of Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, I highly recommend Treasure Tracker for fans of the Captain Toad stages in 3D World, or for fans of puzzle platformers in general. As a fan of this game since the Wii U release, I'm glad this game got another chance on much more successful platforms, even if it still wasn't a huge success. Still, I hope this concept is revisited someday, since I think there's a lot of potential for a sequel. Even though Captain Toad Treasure Tracker is a spin-off, we've officially reached the end of my 3D Mario review series for now. In addition to the main reviews in 2020 for the 35th anniversary, getting to talk about Bowser's Fury and Treasure Tracker was a lot of fun, and I'm excited for more 3D Mario games in the future. I'd still like to go over more Mario games eventually, but for now, I'd like to cover some other franchises. With that being said, thank you for watching.